Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Preimesberger, editor of eWEEK. Thank you very much for joining us today for our latest segment of eWEEK eSpeaks. It's our series of conversations with IT thought leaders from all over the spectrum of the IT business. Our interviewee today is Jeff Brown, CEO of Open Systems, based in Redwood City, California, although he's not in Redwood City right now. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, if you could, and then maybe just the high level on what Open Systems does.
Okay, great. I'd love to. First off, as you mentioned, I'm sitting in beautiful Pinedale, Wyoming, which is a secondary office for us here. But a little bit about myself. I am I guess, serial CEO, you would say, which I think I'm in my 26th year of doing this. Started in startups up in the Seattle area, focused mostly on wireless technologies back then, and took a couple companies public and sold them. Moved into sort of what I'd call sort of mid-tier companies, where I come in and help companies move to the next level. Company before this was a company called CR Monitor, which was in the industrial IoT space. In Milpitas in the Bay Area, and we sold that last year to a company called MSA, and then I joined here in August of last year, and it's been a great fun ride so far, with a lot of change that you can expect in what we've seen in 2020 so far, at least.
Yeah, and Open Systems right here in my hometown, not hometown, but where we live in Redwood City, California. Nice new office there I got to visit a couple of years ago. And I got to really meet some of the management there. I was really impressed with what they're doing. How would you describe in a couple of minutes what Open Systems brings to the table?
Sure. I think, first and foremost, think of us from a couple of different standpoints. One is, Gartner's SASE model, Secure Access Service Edge. And, it's really about the capability of us helping our customers really take the friction out of connecting to the network and the cloud and all those kind of things, as well as securing it. And that's really changed a lot in the last few years. As you know, with migration to the cloud, we see now a lot of more people working from home, and particularly during the pandemic, but also data centers migrating to the cloud. And the ability to connect them carefully through technologies like SD-WAN, which we offer, ZTNA solutions for access, and then securing it is really a big piece of what we do. So there's that piece, and then there's a whole other what we call XDR piece, which is really around securing all that information, providing the security services out to the endpoint customers, but also through the network, and realizing, as we have, that it's not a question of, are you going to be breached? You probably are going to be breached. The question is how fast you react to that and how fast you respond to it and kill it. And to us, that's really the new focus for a lot of our customers, which is we've got to go down this path. We have to understand there's risk out there, and how do we do that? And we as Open Systems provide all of that as a service. So when you're our customer, we sort of take the operational headache out of the network and the security piece of that and take it on ourselves.
Yeah. So security can be handled in many different ways, at different layers. Endpoint security, storage, data protection security, backup security. But you really focus on the network, and there's so much to be said for that. All data has to go through a network. Mm-hmm. All data has to be stored somewhere. I mean, there's that kind of thing. But what your solution hits is common to all data flow. And so is that primarily because I guess my question is this the best kind of security right now for what we need? It sounds like you guys are going to say yes to that, but can you explain why?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be poor CEO if I didn't say yes to that. But anyway, I think when you think about this what's happening in the world today and security issues around that, you have to think about what is sort of best in class services. And we announced a new managed detection and response service back in July, which is a service we're wrapping around Microsoft Sentinel. What we've heard from our customer set, I think we're Fortune 2000 roughly is our customer set, is that they really like the technology of that, but they didn't want to operate it. And finding people to manage to run and manage your SOC and all those things are difficult things for a lot of our customers, and we take that on. When we look at the security infrastructure out there, and you mentioned endpoint is one source of data, frankly, for an engine like Sentinel. And we take in information from the endpoints and various appliances that are out there, or in a lot of cases, our information, and we're able to identify those threats. But I think more importantly, we're able to respond to the threat. And to me, as I said just before, the breach is almost inevitable these days. The question is, how fast can you respond and cut that off? And that, I think, is really where there's a big focus. We try to get it early on in the kill chain and take care of it and really move that through. So it's combining a bunch of different appliances or endpoints or network elements, pulling data out of them, massaging it, and being able to react to understand the threat and react to it. One of the other things we did was we actually acquired an analytics company called Scuba. And they help us with, as you imagine, the vast amount of data that's generated around this. We can then take actionable insight on that through some of the AI and ML focused solutions that they've built for us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. Is Open Systems actually a menu item on the Azure cloud right now that can be acquired and used by customers right now? Is that what it is?
We have one of the offers in the Azure Marketplace. Yes, you can do that. Although given the size of most of our customers, there's a little more tailoring that we do for them on that side. But there is a base offer in the Azure Marketplace. But as you go through this and you see how each network is architected differently, what the work from home requirements are, all the security implement and things around that, we try to adjust the offer to fit that customer and how they use things.
Yeah, so there is some customization involved, probably with every installment, correct?
Almost every, yeah. There's a few generics. We also did another acquisition, a company called Born in the Cloud, which is really focused in on Microsoft Azure and services around that. It's really started its life as a professional services group, and then went into some managed Sentinel, managed Azure, managed virtual desktop integration. And some of those are more generic in what we can do there. And you can almost get them off the shelf. But as you move into more of the deep networking and deep security pieces, it becomes a little more, less off the shelf and more custom.
Yeah. Because of the AI and the machine learning, I think did you say you're using machine learning also in this? Or just the AI? Mm-hmm. Does Open Systems become kind of a preemptive type of security also? Can you predict when there's going to be, can the solution predict when there's going to be problems or what?
Yeah, so I mean, we work on that. Obviously, I said you can expect to be breached. We also try our best, obviously, not to have you breached. Yeah. And we use a lot of the network elements that we have across our customer base to be able to spot potential problems for other customers as well. But we use both the AI and ML analytics to that to really try and get ahead of that game on the security side. And by the way, we also use it on the networking side to look at and see how things work in the network and get proactive about avoiding outages and things like that we see from learnings we've made on that.
Yeah. And what about internal security? It's not just external that you cover in the network. What about it inside of a company with insider?
We have a full array of firewalls, secure gateways, email gateways, all that comes as part of the package you get with us as a service offer. Mm-hmm. So there is all the internal things as well. And you raise a great point, which is we love to talk about the cloud. I go into a lot of customers and we spend lots of hours talking about cloud. But in reality, for a lot of our customers, it's a hybrid, really, still. There is edge. There's a lot of edge still out there. We have a customer who's a big cement manufacturer in Europe, and they had migrated almost all of their key applications to the cloud. They made an acquisition, 5 plants, each of which had its own ERP system on site with its own data center. And so they're back out at the edge again. And I think one of the things that we help try to do is manage that continual move from the edge back into the cloud and help our customers do that. But you have to have a little bit of a foot in the old camp as well to be able to do that.
Can open systems be used on a private cloud inside on a server too, or is it strictly a cloud service?
Sure, we have hybrid cloud capabilities. You can do it. You can move across different clouds, your own cloud, all those kind of things. That's capabilities we have out there as well. So yes, that's there. So, I would say when we look at our customer base, again, Fortune 2000 thing, 97% of them are focused right now on Azure for the most part because of the Microsoft license piece, the E5 licenses and Microsoft 365 and all those kind of things. There's a big focus on Azure right now.
Right. So that Microsoft business is most of your business right now, it sounds like.
Well, there's a lot on the cloud side, and then on the network side, we are spread out over everything. So yes, there's a bit of that. But we also work, as I said, with hybrid cloud. So we're working with AWS and Google and others as well.
Great. And just a minute or so left, Jeff. Can you name a couple of your customers? You mentioned that you're selling mostly to the Fortune 2000. Can you mention a couple?
Sure. I think a couple that have been actually, if you were to visit our website, you'd see them on there. There's Kemet and Chemours here in the U.S. who are chemical and manufacturing customers that are fairly well known out there. We have a significant number of financial customers. We have the company was originally founded in Zurich, so you might guess financial is a big piece of that as well, and a lot of companies like UBS, et cetera. But also we have companies like Swiss Re on the reinsurance side, and those. So some pretty well-known names out there, as I said to that. We also have a significant NGO business. We don't talk about them as customers because that's not allowed, but it's also a fairly significant piece of our base as well.
Well, thank you for that. I know for a security company, they're a little reluctant to talk about their customers, and I totally understand that. But I think our readers and viewers would like to know, well, open systems sounds cool, so who's using them? So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's as we started in Europe, I think it's one of the funny things that I've heard this more than I care to, actually, which is you guys are the best kept secret. And hopefully you'll help us become a less kept secret.
Okay, listen, that's great. Thanks. On that note, Jeff, we're coming to the end of our line here, so we have to go. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us on eWEEK eSpeaks.
Thank you.
And for everybody following along with us all the way to the end, thank you very much, and have a great rest of your eWEEK. Thanks for joining us on eWEEK eSpeaks. Go to eWEEK.com to hear more conversations with IT thought leaders.